Hello and welcome along to the Breeders' Cup Preview 2013 for attheraces.com. I'm joined by our US expert Steve Millar and Jason Weaver, and we're going to turn our attentions now to the big finale to the meeting. It is the $5 million Breeders' Cup Classic. It's the one we've all come for. It's run in the early hours of Sunday morning, just 35 minutes past 12. A mile and a quarter is the trip on the dirt. It's not been a good race for the favourite backers, and for the second year running it looks like the favourite will be Game On Dude. He's looking to avenge the defeat at the hands of Fortland last time out, but Stevie looks to have as good a chance as ever this year.
Yeah, he does. I mean, 7 for 8 at Santa Anita. Bob Baffert has been very bullish. He's undefeated this season. A perfect 5 for 5, $2.5 million in the bank. 3 of those 5 victories have come here at, a couple of them at Santa Anita in Group 1 company. If he's ever going to do it, this has to be his day. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of value here because Baffert has been on the social media banging the drums and with all the press in America about the dude, saying he is the dude. Arguably, he's been unlucky in the last couple of runnings of this race not to be crowned the champion. He deserves one. I'm just not sure the price. He'll be my selection, but price dependent. I'm not sure I'd get stuck into him.
He's got a very good record for the local trainer as well, 7 from 8 on the track, and reports are, as you say, Bob Baffert banging the drum about his works this week. He's looked impressive.
Yeah, the thing with him, Bob runs a couple, doesn't he? Him and also Painter. They're 2 different types of horses, he says. Game On Dude has been sparkling in his work, and you can be a little bit more aggressive with him. Painter, you've got to be that little bit gentler with. He's just a different type, different mentality. They both come in here in good form. I'm always a little bit worried when they do one spectacular last piece of work before coming into a biggie. It's always my main. I know it's been the long-term aim, but I'd rather save that spectacular piece for a little bit later on. But that's my only worry.
It was really interesting watching the HRTV coverage on Monday. Painter went through his last strides, and Bob Baffert worked him in front of a horse. Not from off the pace. And Bob said in the interview afterwards, he said, that was my plan. Is Painter in here with the gracing and the okay from the Zayat stables, Ahmad Zayat, to say you are the pacemaker for Game On Dude? Yeah. It could possibly go that way. Let's not forget, a year ago after the Haskell victory, Painter was expected to be the next dude. He's come back from the brink of death. That would be one heck of a story if he was to put together a great performance in here.
Fascinating to see how tactics are going to play out there. Well, a horse that was very much up on the pace last year was our winner, Fortland. He's back in the field again here, Steve, at a slightly bigger races. He's won 2 races since, hasn't he, including the Grade 1 Stephen Foster last time at Churchill Downs as well. Trained by Ian Wilkes. Bit of a shock last year. Can he repeat it this year?
No. Nope.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. He's had his day in the Glory Fort Larn. I mean, he's done the same thing. It was a bloodless victory last time out at Churchill Downs. They used that as a nice prep. I think there's going to be a little bit more pace in here. And horses of this ilk, he's not a Tiz now. A great horse that can repeat. He's a good horse, don't get me wrong. He's a multi-millionaire and a multiple Group 1 winner. But I don't think he has what it takes to win on consecutive years.
Ron the Greek, I know, is a horse that you're a fan of, Jason. He's everyone's favourite horse in the States, isn't he? He's been around for a while now. He was 4th in last year's race, and he was back to his best winning the Jockey Club Gold Cup, which I think we're looking at here.
He can throw in a complete clunker. Don't worry about that. But when he's good, oh my God, when the real Ron the Greek turns up, he's absolutely awesome. He has, on his resume, when winning here at Belmont, he dipped below the magical 2 minutes for a mile and a quarter. If you look at the times, that is phenomenal. So he ran 1:59 and change for the mile and a quarter. That's on a track. Admittedly, it's a different circumference completely, mile and a quarter at Belmont compared to a mile and a quarter at Santa Anita from down the bottom of the straight. But even still, on a quicker surface, on a going day, he can run quick enough to beat all of them.
He can throw in a shocker. He's been beaten twice this season by Game On Dude, so I guess his performance in the Jockey Club Gold Cup only serves to frank the form of the favourites.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, if you're going to back him, you will know your fate within the first quarter of a mile. He's one of those guys that shows up or doesn't show up. He will win or he'll be dead last. But as you say, you better take a price, Jason, if you want to get stuck into him. He was 21-1 on that occasion at Belmont in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Yes, he has the ability. but he's like one of those naughty children that sometimes just goes in and I don't want to do it today.
Yeah, if he gets a slap around the legs early on, you know, just tends to come out of there. But if it can just happen for him, he's got all the tools.
Yeah.
He's a popular horse as well, a veteran now at 6 years of age, Ron the Greek. We'll take a look at Macho Man as well, one of the others in the American contingent. Drawn in 6, ridden by Gary Stevens here, who we'd all love to see winning on the big stage. Trained by Kathy Ritvo, who's a sort of smaller trainer who I guess the UK punters wouldn't be as familiar with, but was second in this race last year, so right in it here as far as form goes.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a great story with Kathy Ritvo to win, First Lady to win the Classic. Gary Stevens back in. He has been a heartbreak of a horse. I mean, if you own him, you're not too bad. He's got $2.5 million in the bank plus, but the fact of the matter, how many times has he sung so close to winning the big races?
But don't you think Gary Stevens getting the leg up is a massive positive as far as he is concerned? And he equalled, with Stevens riding him for the very first time, he equalled his previous best ever performance when he was second to Fort Larned. So on a rating or a speed figure, what he achieved, Stevens got the best out of him, and that was his only try.
It would be a great story, as you said, with him on board. Let's take a look now then at the European contingent, headlined by Declaration of War. I get the impression, just watching some of the track work and listening to the US punters on Monday, that this is a horse they're worried about. They've been trying to win this race year on year, the Aidan O'Brien Ballydoyle team. Could this be the horse to do it, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be their best chance since being denied by Tisnow and Giants Causeway so many years ago. It was heartbreak indeed. This is Joseph's big opportunity to shine at the Breeders' Cup. This is their best opportunity since Giants Causeway to go over, if they're going to do it. I'm just not sure of the prices. I'd have to shop around for a price. I just have a sneaking suspicion that punters on this side of the pond are going to get stuck into this horse, probably for the wrong reasons. So I'm going to shop for a price. If he wins, he'll be too short for me. It may float my price on Game On Dude on this side of the pond. He will be a much bigger price in America than he will be here with our bookmakers.
When they took Giants Causeway, Mozart, Galileo, they came to Southall for a gallop. Giants Causeway very nearly pulled off the Classic victory. Declaration of War, where's he been? He's been to Sunny Southall for a gallop. Yeah, he's been for the secret gallop at Sunny Southall. The amount of dirt that gets thrown at you if you get back in the ruck, and your hand being forced if you have to go early. He needs the dream of all dream trips. I hope he gets it. I hope he gets it. It would be a wonderful story.
Now, he had the run at Dundalk, and I think at the time there was talk of preparing him for a Kentucky Derby campaign. He's by Warfront. He's got the US breeding on his sign, so it'd be interesting to know how much they did with him at that stage as far as his dirt practice went.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You know, when you're not training on it every day, you're not getting that normal kickback under race conditions. It's a big ask. You know, we find it hard to do it in any of them. To come in here against the big old gnarly big boys on your first go is a big ask.
Yeah, but I think once again you have to give Ballydoyle all the credit in the world. They're taking a shot, and why not? I mean, it's not going to hurt the horse's pedigree when he finally goes to stud, but it can improve it immensely. So, you know, well done to them. I commend them. Year in and year out, they go over there. They've come back with some narrowly chances of victory. Maybe this year they could possibly get it.
We certainly wish them the best of luck with Declaration of War. One of the other European contenders as well to mention at a bigger price is the well-travelled Planteur. He was well beaten by Cirrus des Aigles in the Prix d'Ollar, I think it was last time, but here he is winning a Group 3 at Windsor. He got back to winning ways, didn't he, on 2 occasions this year. I guess again the big question mark is the dirt.
You know what the interesting one they're doing with him, and it's probably something that could have been done a little bit more to help our horses. It's not going to protect his eyes, but he's going to run in a hood for the first time. He's going to run in a hood. Now, it's going to give him some sort of protection against an alien dirt that's going to be absolutely thrown at him. He's tough. He's well-travelled. He doesn't mind a fight. Is he good enough? I don't know. One thing about him, if you looked at him in his shorter races of this trip in France, he can be very keen. Yeah. That's got to stand him in good stead.
Well, there at Windsor, I was working that night. He was wound up like a rubber band, and Frankie was trying his best to try to get him to settle. He won the race on class alone, coming off that long layoff. Strike a line through that last race. Yeah, look, I mean, he's got the right man training as it goes around right now, but you'd have to get a massive price. I'm not sure he's of the ilk of the top horses in the race.
You can see why connections are having a stab, though. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
$5 million in the pot for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Hopefully we'll have plenty in our pot by the time we get to the last race on Saturday, Jason. If we don't, what's the get out of jail stakes?
The mighty enigma that is Ron the Greek.
Ron the Greek for Jason. Steve?
I'm a Game On Dude fan through and through. I think this is his year. Just quickly, arguably one of the stories, and I'm sure that the Americans will play up, will be the Dwayne Lucas, Eric Goulet thing with Mourinho, and will take charge. Goulet charging Luis Saez with using an electronic buzzer. He has apologized to Lucas this week. Lucas has accepted it, but Luis Saez has told him, I'm not speaking to you. That will be a great battle of the three-year-olds.
It certainly will, but let's hope Game On Dude for Steve can avenge defeat, and it's Ron the Greek for Jason in the Breeders' Cup Classic to end proceedings on Saturday evening.